Hey everybody, it's Wednesday, April 15th, and today I'm going to do everything with weight plates. So I had a request from somebody. I've got a set of weight plates and a weight bench at home, and you're probably not using it for squats and bench press and things like that. Some people just have these sitting in their basement from years ago, or someone gave them to them, or something like that. But I'm going to show you some things you can do with all of that equipment if you have it and make it work for you. So I have a set over here where I've got 45s and 25s and 35s, and really mostly they just sit there. But I'm going to show you how we can use 10s and 5s and 2.5s and a 25-pound. You know, you can make it work for you, doing some more functional things that are really quite challenging. So today we're going to start with seated bent over rows. So on that weight bench, have a seat, get a good base of support here. And I'm going to use 10s here, and I want you to lean over, keep those abs tight, and just row up like this. So I'm just holding on to the plates and doing a row. So I want to still think about squeezing my shoulder blades back. And by doing this seated, my low back is much more supported than if I were to do this standing and bent over. But you can do that too. If you feel strong enough, you can stand and do it like this. But this is much easier on your low back because your weight is supported by that bench and by your feet. So we'll do a good 10 or 12 here. Keep those shoulders down away from your ears and just pull straight up. Okay, seated bent over rows. Now, I'm going to grab a little bit heavier weight. You can grab whatever works for you, but we're going to do squats. And just add a little bit of extra weight to those squats. So, you want to sit back. My feet are about shoulder width apart, toes forward, and the weight is in my heels. So, I'm just hugging that weight for a little extra challenge in my squat, and I'm keeping it really close to my body to protect my low back. So as you come up, think about squeezing those glutes and keeping your knees right over your toes, sitting straight back, sitting those hips back like you're going to sit down in a chair, and just hanging on to that weight. If you don't have weight plates and you want to follow along with this workout, you can grab dumbbells and do the same thing with all of these. You can hold a dumbbell nice and close to you. Okay, next, the biggest thing with using these is watching your back in the transition, pulling them off the weight stack or pulling them off the floor or wherever you keep them stored. So watch your back in those transitions. Okay, bicep curls. So I'm going to grab those 10-pound weights again and do bicep curls with them. So I'm going to stand on one foot to challenge my base of support and go up and down, letting those elbows go all the way straight in between. You can hold them out like this, or you can hold them more straight. Whatever feels best on your elbows and your shoulders. If you do have any elbow pain, holding them like this probably feels a little bit better. Doesn't put that strain on your elbow quite as much. And if you are kind of in between and 10s are too much or 5s are too little, I would grab the 5s and do more. So I think it's always better to do more at a lower weight until you feel more comfortable. One thing with bicep curls is to make sure that you don't engage your back and start swinging like this. You want to keep that straight, engage your abs. You know, generally, if you start swinging it, you're getting tired or you've chosen a weight that's too high. So if you do find yourself doing that, set them down and grab a smaller weight. Okay. Landmine squat. Now we do this in the gym. I've got a bar set up for this, but you can also do it in your home. So I just put my bar in the corner. So I've got a weight bar like you would generally use for, you know, a squat rack or for chest press, things like that. So I'm going to see if I can get myself in here, get this camera back a little ways. And what you're going to do is grab the dumbbell. So I put, as you can see, I put a towel in the corner to give it some support. All right, I'm going to bring this up now. And to protect my wall in my corner, but that gives it a good pivot spot. So I'm going to grab the weight bar here about, you know, wherever it's comfortable, but back a little ways. My feet are forward a little ways, and when I come down, I can use that leverage of that bar to do a really good squat. I know we just did a different type of squat over there, but having a weight on one side is another way to challenge your core along with that squat. So we're going to do 10, holding it on one side for now, and then later in the workout, we're going to hold it on the other side so that you don't get burned out with those squats doing too many in a row. Really sit back, and you can kind of pull on this, like I'm really kind of pushing it into the corner to give myself that leverage, and just stand up and squat back down. Okay, that's one way you can use your bar. All right, I'm going to put this back up and do triceps extension. So I'm going to grab my 25. If you have a 10, I'll grab my 10. If 10 isn't enough, you can put them together. But what I want you to do is put your weight straight over your head. I'm trying not to get all the light involved here by putting this up higher, but putting this straight over your head and then up over like this. So you want to keep your elbows in nice and tight and just push straight up. So this is triceps extension overhead press. And if a 10 doesn't feel like enough, or a 5, whatever you're using, you can put 2 together. So I'm going to put my 10 and my 5 together and just make sure you have a good grip on them. And then straight up overhead. So keep that back nice and tall. Keep those elbows in close to your ears and push straight up overhead. Keep those abs nice and tight. And you can also challenge your balance with this. You can do a tandem stance. You can't see my feet, but a tandem stance or stand on one leg. Different ways to make it work all the way up and down your body. Okay, triceps extension. Next, we're going to lower to the floor and do a Russian twist. So you guys, many of you do these in the gym with balls and hamagons and things. And I've grabbed a towel to roll up into a square to put in the small of my back. This helps give you a little bit of support, and it can help your tailbone if this is in a comfortable position. I'm going to grab my 10-pound plate. You can start with 5, 2.5, whatever you have. Bend your knees. Weights on your heels here. Lean back a little ways, and then touch this down side to side. If you have any back pain with this, stop and message me, and I'll give you a different thing to do instead of this. But you're just kind of holding this position and twisting side to side. keep those knees bent, which also helps protect your back. And 10, good. Okay, next we're gonna do shoulder press. So we'll come back up, and I'm going to grab my 25 for this, I think. So remember, protect your back. Use your legs to lift. Bring this up a little higher. And you're just gonna start here and push up overhead. Make sure, if you do have back pain, do this seated, so that when you press that weight over your head, it's not going to hurt your back. So you're gonna have to play with the grip on this. You don't want to hit your face. You can hold it straight up and down like this. Holding it like this is a little easier to hang on to, but then you gotta watch your chin and watch your nose. Good. You can also do that seated on a ball. But if you don't have back pain, it's good to do it standing. You can try it with a little balance challenge as well. Okay, now we're going to go back to the landmine squat. Move this back to where it was. And now I'm going to hold it on the other side. So I'm going to hold it with my left hand this time. Bend those knees, pick it up. Really want to sit back, and you can use this for support. It's moving around a little, but if you've got it jammed in that corner, it can give you a little bit of balance support. And just let it come out in front of you a little ways so you can really sit those hips back. 9, 10, good. Okay, now, one more, we're going to do a balance challenge. So I'm going to grab just a 2.5 pound weight and stand on one foot and take this out to the side, and I'm just going to oscillate forward and side, forward and side. And by doing that, I'm challenging my balance, and I'm also working my core a little bit by holding this weight out to the side and moving it without moving around. Really challenges my core as well. Okay, then we'll switch sides. Try to do it with this hand down. When you put it out there, then you're kind of counterbalancing. Just having that one arm out to the side gives you a good challenge to that core in addition to this balance. Nine, 10. Okay. Next, another little bit of a core challenge. I'm going to stand with my feet a good distance apart, a little bit of a squat, and I'm just going to turn and press out to each side, nice and slowly. As you extend this out, it requires your back and your core to kick in to hold that so that you don't collapse towards it. If you have back pain, choose a lesser weight, or to do it seated. That will help give you a little more support. You can do it seated on a ball, like this. And that will continue to challenge that without putting your back at such a risk. 9, 10, and 10. Okay, one more. And I'm going to use this ball. So we're going to do chest flies with a bridge. So if you have trouble balancing on the ball, do it next to something so you can hang on. But we're going to walk out, come back a little further. Slowly walk out so you're in a good bridge on that ball. Your head and shoulders are resting. You got a straight flat line from your knees to your shoulders. We're going to hang on to these and do a chest fly. I chose 5s. Generally, I do these with a 10-pound dumbbells, but the way I have to hang on to them is harder, so I went down a weight, and we can do more. The other thing you could do is, if you have 2.5 pounds, you could put both of those. You have to just figure out what weight works for you, and especially with the challenge in the grip of these, because they're obviously not as easy to hang on to as dumbbells or those soft balls or the other things that are designed for these. These are more designed to go on the bar, but we can use them all sorts of different ways. I don't know how many I've done, but I'm doing a few more because the weight is lighter. So we're holding that bridge, and you should be feeling it in your hamstrings and your glutes about now. If you're still holding that, remember to keep those hips nice and high. Press those hips towards the ceiling. Okay, good. All right. That's it for those for today. I'm just going to go through them once, just so that I did a few more. I did 11 today versus my normal 5 or 6. So I wanted to go through a bunch of those so that you have them in your arsenal for how to use a set of weight plates if that's what you've got in your house. Okay, keep sending me your ideas. Hang in there. It's Wednesday. I'll see you all again on Friday. Thanks, everybody.